Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Scholars and Curious. This is Monica Shivastav in front of you with a fresh video series of electromagnetics. So friends, यहाँ इस चैनल पे मैं सभी उन एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए फिजिक्स के लेक्चर्स लेके आती हूँ जो नेट जेआरएफ या गेट, जेस्ट, जैम एटसेट्रा एग्जाम्स की तैयारी कर रहे हैं। और अभी लॉकडाउन की वजह से क्योंकि हम सब घर पर ही हैं, जो ऑफलाइन स्टडी है वो हो नहीं रही है, तो आप बहुत सारे ऑनलाइन चैनल सर्च कर रहे होंगे एंड आई विश कि आपकी वो सर्च इस चैनल पर आकर ख़त्म हो। मैं ट्राई करूँगी अच्छा कंटेंट अवेलेबल करवाऊँ आपको, और मैं ये पूरा विश्वास दिलाती हूँ कि हम अपने सब्जेक्ट्स वन बाय वन करेंगे। हम इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म तो ज़रूर सीखेंगे, बट एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग वे में, एंड आई होप आपको मज़ा आएगा। तो सबसे पहले हम थोड़ा सा फंडामेंटल्स ले लेते हैं एंड वन बाय वन वी विल प्रोसीड। हम बहुत ही बेसिक से स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं और ये लेक्चर्स बहुत ज़्यादा लंबे नहीं होने वाले हैं। मतलब मेरा कोई भी लेक्चर बहुत ज़्यादा लेंथी नहीं होगा, छोटे छोटे लेक्चर्स होंगे, छोटे छोटे टॉपिक्स होंगे, हम उनके क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे। मैं आपको क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करने के तरीके बताऊंगी और फिर जो प्रीवियस ईयर के एग्जाम्स के जो पेपर हैं हम वो सॉल्व करेंगे वन बाय वन। तो बहुत मज़ा आएगा। आप जुड़े रहिए मेरे साथ और अपने फ्रेंड्स को भी शेयर कीजिए। तो चलिए, व्हाट इज इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म? सो इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म इज वन ऑफ द फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस इन नेचर। हमने पढ़ा है, 11th स्टैंडर्ड में पढ़ा है कि 4 टाइप के फोर्सेस होते हैं। देयर आर स्ट्रॉन्ग फोर्सेस, देयर आर वीक फोर्सेस, देयर आर इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फोर्सेस एंड देयर आर लाइक ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्सेस। तो इनमें से ये 4 फंडामेंटल फोर्सेस में थे, इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म जो है वो एक फोर्स है। ओके, सो what is electromagnetic force is responsible for? So the electromagnetic force is solely responsible for the structure of matter, organic or inorganic, physics, chemistry, biology, material science etc. और जो हमारा ये इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म का सब्जेक्ट है ये इंजीनियरिंग के ब्रांचेस में काम आता ही है। हम इसे कम्युनिकेशन और ब्रॉडकास्टिंग सिस्टम्स में भी ये थियरीज काम में लेते हैं। बहुत सारी जो थ्योरेटिकल रिसर्च होती है वहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म का एक बड़ा रोल है। और इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक फोर्सेस लाइट्स, मोटर्स और बैटरीज से लेकर माइक्रो इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस तक में अपना प्रभाव छोड़ते हैं। तो हम शुरू करेंगे। इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिज्म जो है उसके 3 ब्रांचेस जो मैं आपको यहाँ पे दिखा पा रही हूँ। द फर्स्ट वन इज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, देन मैग्नेटिज्म एंड देन ऑप्टिक्स। और हम इन तीनों ही ब्रांचेस को वन बाय वन करने वाले हैं। हम आज इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से स्टार्ट करेंगे। तो हम बहुत फंडामेंटल से शुरू कर रहे हैं, ये मैंने आपको बताया। तो वी विल यूज द एसआई सिस्टम। व्हाट इज एसआई? International System of Units, System International, and in SI units fundamental quantities are per length meter, for mass kilograms kg, per time second. Other units we will use current for current ampere, and the derived quantities we will use for Newton for force, joule for energy, coulomb for charge, volt for electric potential and ohm for resistance as well. तो इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक्स का हमने आज स्टार्ट करना और ये हमारा फर्स्ट लेक्चर है। एंड हियर वी गो विथ इलेक्ट्रिक चार्ज। तो यहाँ पे एक एग्जांपल मैंने आपके लिए रखा हुआ है। एक सिल्क का कपड़ा है नीचे ये, और एक ग्लास रोड अगर हम इस पे रब करते हैं, किसी सिल्क के कपड़े पर जब हम ग्लास रोड रब करते हैं तो चार्ज का ट्रांसफर होता है। कैसे? इन स्लाइड्स के थ्रू समझिए। तो कुछ इस तरह से, तो सिल्क का कपड़ा नेगेटिवली चार्ज हो जाता है और ग्लास रॉड पॉजिटिवली चार्ज हो जाती है। अब ये चार्जेस कहां से आए? चार्जेस नेचर में हमेशा होते हैं। बट वो एक प्लेस से दूसरे प्लेस पे ट्रांसफॉर्म होते हैं, और जब वो ट्रांसफॉर्म होते हैं तब वो नेगेटिव या पॉजिटिव होते हैं। ओके, मूविंग अहेड विद दिस, तो जब टू पॉजिटिव चार्जेस आर देयर देन दे रिपेल, if two negative charges are there then they repel, but one positive and one negative will attract each other। तो ये थ्योरी बहुत बेसिक है, हमें पता है कि इक्वल चार्जेस विल रिपेल एंड अपोजिट चार्जेस विल अट्रैक्ट ईच अदर। थोड़ा सा हिस्ट्री देखें इलेक्ट्रिक चार्ज की, तो इन 600 BC ग्रीक्स फर्स्ट डिस्कवर अट्रैक्टिव प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ एम्बर व्हेन रब्ड। एम्बर इज अ टाइप ऑफ मैटर। In 1600 AD, electric bodies repel as well as attract. It was theoretically observed. In 1735 AD, Diophei said two distinct types of electricity is there. In 1750 AD, Franklin said positive and negative charges are there in nature. In 1770 AD, Coulomb says he gave inverse square law, which is Coulomb's law. We will study in this lecture. In 1890 AD, J.J. Thomson did the quantization of electric charge, and from this theory he discovered electron. So like now we know some basic things. So this is the summary of things we know. There is a property of matter called electric charge. Charges can be negative like electrons or positive like protons. In matter, the positive charges are stuck in place in the nuclei. Matter is negatively charged when extra electrons are added and positively charged when electrons are removed. Like charges repel, unlike charges attract. Charges travel in conductors, not in insulators, and force of attraction or repulsion is equally 1 upon r square, whereas r is the distance between the charges. Okay, so we know that charge is quantized. So what is one quanta? What is the mean of quantization? So quantization is to put an thing in the multiple of an elementary unit. Like if charge is quantized, then the charge on any object is the multiple of an elementary charge E, and E is equal to 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulombs. So in this table you can see for electron the charge is minus E, mass is 1 unit and diameter is 0. For proton, charge is plus E, mass is 1836 and diameter is approximately equal to 10 to the power minus 15 meter. For neutron and positron we can see here as well. We know that these are the fundamental particles of atom, and proton, neutron and electrons, and protons and neutrons are made up of quarks. Okay, and those quarks having charge multiples of E by 3 or Q by 3 we can say. Moving ahead with the structure of atom, and the nucleus in an atom looks like this. There are protons, means positive charge. There are neutrons, means neutral charges. So this is your nucleus and this is your electron cloud. Okay, and these are some orbitals where electrons will be revolving around the nucleus in these orbits. So this is one electron. Some more electrons I am putting here. So basically this atom is neutral. Now I can say how. There are 6 protons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And there are 6 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So 6 electrons means 6 negative charges and plus 6 protons means 6 positive charges. That means the atom is neutral now. Okay, so yeah, the atom is neutral now. Now if we want to do this atom positively charged or negatively charged, Then what we will do? If I add one more electron, you can see, let me show it again. Let us remove all this ink. Yeah, now it is clear. Now, there are 6 electrons, you can see. I am going to add one more electron here. You can see there is the electron. One more electron is added up. Now, the number of electrons are 7 and the number of protons is still 6. So, the number of negative charges are more. That is why this atom is now negatively charged. One more electron if I add, then it has 2 negative charges more. Okay, so we can say it is a negative atom and number of electrons are greater than number of protons. How many electrons are more? 2 electrons. So the charge is minus 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. Okay. Now again, if I remove some electrons, then it will be positively charged. How? I have removed this one electron. Again this one. One more. This is out. And one more. This is also out. Okay. Let me show it again. Okay. We were here. There were 8 electrons and 6 protons. One by one, I am removing some electrons to make this atom positively charged. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have removed 4 atoms now. 4 electrons now. There are 4 electrons available, but 6 protons as well. The number of positive charge is more than the number of negative charges. So we can say this atom is positively charged. It is a positive atom because number of electrons is less than the number of protons. The atom has plus 2e charge, means plus 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb. I hope this concept is easy and now you are clear from it. Let's move ahead. Let's talk about Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law is also called inverse square law. Why? I'll tell you. There are 2 charges and those charges are separated by some distance, say R12. Okay. So, this charge will oppose some force on this Q2, that is F12. Again, this charge will also hit some force on Q1, that will be F21. So let's say F12 is equal to K, some constant, Q1 and Q2, the magnitude of both the charges, and the square of the distance between them. So force is proportional to the magnitude of the multiple of the magnitude of the charges Q1 and Q2, and force is also proportional to the inverse square of the distance between them. And for this, it is also called the inverse square law because the force is depending on the inversely square distance of the charges between them. Yeah. Now what is this K? K is some constant. As I said, K is equals to 4 pi epsilon naught inverse, which has the numeric value 9 into 10 to the power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. What is epsilon naught here? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of free space, which is again some numeric value 8.86 into 10 to the power minus 12 Coulomb square per Newton meter square. So if you are doing graduation or post graduation in physics, or you are preparing for some competitive exams, you guys have already studied these things. These are some basic things. Though this lecture may not be very useful for those persons, but for those who are just starting their physics, who are like at the initial stage, the students who are in 12th now and want to pursue their career in physics, this lecture is very important for them. And those students who are preparing for IIT JAM and JEST and somehow have forgotten these basics, this lecture will help them as well. they don't need to read again the 11th-12th books of physics. Now, let's compare gravitational and electric forces. So, let's have an example of hydrogen atom. There are two electrons. We can say this is an electron, and let's say it is a positron of mass m, and there is the distance between them, which is r12. So this small m is 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. This capital M is 1.7 into 10 to the power minus 27 kgs, and the distance between them is 5.3 into 10 to the power minus 11 meter. We are just going to compare two forces, gravitational force and electric force, and we'll see which force is dominating. Okay, so first of all, gravitational force. Put these value into this formula. Fg equals to gmm upon r square. This r cap is denoting the direction of the force, which is in this direction. So we are keeping here r cap. So by putting the value, we are getting gravitational force equals to 3.6 into 10 to the power minus 47 Newton. Let's see what is the electric force. So this is the electric force. Putting the values in this equation, in this formula, we are getting Fe equals to electrostatic force equals to 3.6 into 10 to the power minus 8 Newton. Now you can see what is the difference. There is big difference. We can see electrostatic forces are much more than the gravitational forces, and that is why electrostatic forces are dominating in nature when we are talking about two charged particles. Okay. Now there is one more concept, superposition of forces from two charges. If there are two charges, and like we can say more than two charges, and one charge is fixed, and one charge can change its position, then how to solve the problem from Coulomb's equation? We can use superposition of forces. What is the force? Just see in this diagram, we have to consider the effect of each charge separately. These blue dots, these blue balls are the charges which are fixed in their position. This charge will oppose a force. This charge will oppose a force on this. It will repel this one. So the force will be in this direction, Again, one more force, this charge will apply on this one. So the force will be in this direction. If we want to if we want to get only one force, then what we will do? We will try to create some vector sum. Factorial, we will add the forces and then we can get the answer. So by creating factorial addition, the resultant force will come in this direction. This is called the net force. What will be this net force? So if one force is in this direction, one force is in this direction, and the net force is in this direction, then the forces will be added vectorially. Okay, if I say there is F31x, there is F31y, and I want to get F31, then what I will do? I will add these two. The same concept is with F21x and F21y. So this is your superposition principle. ये बहुत important concept है और ये concept हमारे बहुत काम आने वाला है जब हम क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे. चलिए अब जितना हमने पढ़ा है उस पर कुछ एग्जांपल्स करते हैं और अपने नॉलेज को एक बार चेक कर लेते हैं. Example 1 is saying two charges are separated by distance r and have a force F on each other. This is the diagram. There are two charges Q1 and Q2. Those two forces are in opposite direction. The distance between them is r. We have to apply this formula of the force, which is Coulomb's law of forces, F equals to K Q1 Q2 upon R square. Now, if R is doubled, whatever the R is shown here, if I multiply it by 2, R is doubled now, then what is force? Instead of this R, put 2R, then it will be 4R square. We can say force will be 1/4 of the original force. Now, if Q1 is doubled, then if Q1 is doubled, if this one is doubled, then total force will be doubled. If Q1 and Q2 are doubled and R is halved, you can do it by yourself also. Take a resistor and a pen and try to solve. If we will do Q1 double, Q2 double and R is halved, then R by 2 whole square will be here. This 2 and 2 will, and then the 4 is downside, the 4 is upside. So the force will be 16F, 4 into 4. Okay. So in any condition, we can get the forces. Either we are changing the distances or we are changing the magnitude of the charges. Example 2. It is quite important. Two 40-gram masses, each with a charge of 3 microcoulomb, are placed 50 centimeter apart. Compare the gravitational force between two masses to the electric force between the two masses. हमने अभी एक कॉन्सेप्ट देखा जिसमें हमें पता चला कि ग्रेविटेशनल फोर्सेस इलेक्ट्रोस्टैटिक फोर्सेस या इलेक्ट्रिक फोर्सेस की कंपैरिजन में बहुत कम होते हैं, यानी इलेक्ट्रिक फोर्सेस आर द डोमिनेंट वन. अब हम न्यूमेरिक वैल्यूज को रख के इसको प्रूव कर लेते हैं. तो देयर आर टू मासेस, one having 40 gram on which there is a charge of 3 microcoulomb. Second having 40 gram as well, the charge is 3 microcoulomb again. They are placed 50 centimeter apart. Now we will first calculate the gravitational force, which is 4.27 into 10 to the power minus 13 Newton. Again we will calculate the electrostatic force, which is 0.324 Newton. You can see the difference. You can see the difference. How much the electrostatic force is dominating. The electric force is much greater than the gravitational force. Hence we prove the theory. This is so true. The biggest lie I tell myself is I don't need to write that down. I'll remember it. So please write everything down. Okay. Moving ahead. Example number 3 is here. 3 charged objects are placed as shown. Find the net force on the object with the charge of -4 microcoulomb. These are the 3 charged objects. And we have to find the force on this one. This -4 microcoulomb charge. Okay, so let's start. What we will do, I have told you the superposition law. We will vectorially add the individual quantities of the forces and then we can solve this question. But what is the method? Let's see the method. If this is 90 degree, then these two angles will be 45. We know this thing. Now if this is 20 centimeter, this is 20 centimeter, then this hypotenuse will be approximately equal to 28 centimeter. Okay, now this charge and this charge will attract each other because this is -1, this is +1. The force will be in this direction. Okay, let's say this is F1 force. Now these two charges are -1. So they will repel each other. Now the force will be in this direction. Let's say this is F2. Okay. F1 and F2, we know the thing. We know the formula. What is the formula? F equals to KQ1 Q2 upon R square. Let's put the values. we can get the F1. For F1, the F1 is between this minus 4 microcoulomb and 5 microcoulomb. So the F1 is coming 4.5 Newton. Likewise, we can calculate F2, which is 2.30 Newton. Now, we will apply the law of superposition. How to apply this? Let's discuss on that. This was your F1. In this direction, this was your F2. And this angle was 45 degree. This one. The angle between this and this was 45 degree. Okay. So, the net force we will count. But how? Just make the distance from here to here and here to here. Two arrows you can see. Yeah, there are two arrows. So we will calculate these two distances. Okay, how? If this is 45 degree and this is your F2, then this will be F2 cos 45 and this will be F2 sin 45. What is the value of F2? We have calculated previously. F2 was 2.30 Newton. So just put the value. The distance from here to here will be 2.3 cos 45 degree, which will be equal to 1.6, and as well 2.3 sin 45 will be equal to 1.6. Now we know these two distances. If in any coordinate system there is one point here, then what will be its value? It is 1.6. 1.6. The x coordinate is 1.6 and the y coordinate is 1.6 as well. So if any point is here, then it will have the coordinated value 1.6 and 1.6. Okay. Again, we will calculate the coordinate value of this F1. If any point is here, then the x and what will be the x and y coordinates? Y coordinate will be 0. Okay. And the x coordinate is the value of F1, which was 4.5. Okay. Minus 4.5 because it is in negative direction. So F1 is minus 4.5500. F2 is 1.6 minus 1.6. Yeah, minus because it is in negative y direction. Huh? Yeah. We will add these both. What we will get? We will get the net force, which is minus 2.9 minus 1.6. Simply we have to add these to F1 and F2. Now, let's say this is minus 2.9 and this is 1.6 as well. This is 1.6, you have 1.6 as well. Because for F net, we are getting minus 2.9 and minus 1.6. So this is your minus 2.9 and this is your minus 1.6. So your resultant coordinate should be here. Okay. So the net force will be resultant coordinates square and under root of them, their sum. 2.9 square plus 1.6 square, which will be equal to 3.31 Newton. So this is your net force, which is 3.31 Newton. And that is our answer. I hope you can understand these things. If now we want to calculate the theta, the angle between them, the angle, this angle. So the theta will be tan inverse the y coordinate and the x coordinate, which is approximate 29 degrees. It is too easy to solve. और इस तरह का मेथड आपको बहुत कम टीचर्स या लेक्चरर्स बताएंगे जब आप कूलॉम्स लॉ को सुपरपोजिशन थ्योरम लगाकर सॉल्व कर रहे होंगे. और ये बहुत आसान है. इस मेथड को फॉलो करते हुए आपका क्वेश्चन कभी गलत होगा ही नहीं. ओके, सो आई होप ये आपको समझ में आया हो. मूविंग अहेड टू द एग्जांपल नंबर 4, which is also said balloon lab problem. Two 8-gram equally charged balls are suspended on earth as shown in the diagram below. Find the charge on each ball. We can see the diagram. There is a string and the charge is hanging of this string having the length 30 centimeter. Again, the 30 centimeter string is there and the charge is hanging around. and the angle between these two strings is 20 degree. There will be two electrostatic forces. We have to calculate the charge on each ball. Now, let's rewind the concept of Newton's law. We have studied in previous classes that on any hanging object, many forces work on that, especially gravitational force acts. And then we can see in this picture there are electrostatic forces also. If these charges are hanging with this string, then there will be tensile force, tension also away from the mass. So here will be a tensional forces. Okay, here again. So many types of forces. So one by one we'll solve for each because the values are same. So if we can make free body diagram for this and get the results, then we will get the results for this as well. We know the electrostatic forces kq1 q2 upon r square equals to kq square upon r square because q1 and q2 are same, which is q. Okay. So what we have done, we have just divided this 20 into 10 and 10 by drawing just a division of this line. The distance between them r. Now this is r by 2 and this is r by 2 as well. If it is 10 degree and it is 30 centimeter, then it is your 30 centimeter. It is 10 degrees angle, then this side will be 30 sine 10 degrees. Okay. Again, this side also will be 30 sine 10 degrees. So the total distance r will be 230 sine 10 degree. By solving this, we can get it is 10.4 centimeters. Yeah. We now know the distance between the charges. Now it is quite easy. Let's make a free body diagram. So for the charge which was situated on the left side, we will make a free body diagram. There will be working a gravitational force down to this charge. So what is gravitational force? F equals to mg. M is the mass. What was the mass? And g is your gravitational acceleration. So the mass is 8 gram and g is 10. So 8 gram into 10 in grams, we will get 80. Okay. So we have to solve this in SI unit, System International, to get the force unit in Newton. We will convert it into kg. So it will be 0.008 kg into 10. So it will be 0.08 Newton. So gravitational force is 0.08 Newton. Next, there will be a tensional force, tension away from the mass. I have told you. This is your electrostatic force given in the question, and this is the distance we have already derived. Now we don't know this distance, we can derive this distance as well. Now if this is 10 degree, this was your 10 degree, and this is 90 degree, then this angle is 80 degree. Okay. If this is 80 degree, then it will be t sine 80 degree. And it will be t cos 80 degree. Okay. Try to understand one by one. I am not going too fast. So, be patient and keep trying to understand the concept. This is your t sine 80 degree. This is your t cos 80 degree, as this angle is 80 degree. Now, these two will be equivalent, will balance each other, and this one will balance each other. So there will be two equations. First one will be t sine 80 degree equals to Fg, which is 0.08 Newton. So from here we can get t, which is 0.081 Newton. Now these two Fe and t cos theta will balance each other. So Fe will be equal to T cos 80 degree. What is your Fe? Kq square upon R square. R we know, we have derived earlier, and T we know we have derived from here. So we can get the value of Q square, and from here we can get the value of Q, the charge. So this was the result, and this is how we can solve these types of questions. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel and please share to your friends, family, and to those students who are in 12th and preparing for the IIT and JEE exams, and they want to pursue their future, or they want to pursue their career in physics, they want to make their future in physics, then please share this video. Thank you.